Ryan, please, please.
Ever since the boys introduced Homelander's son Ryan in the show and revealed his superpowers to be on par with that of his father, there's been an air of mystery surrounding this character. People have wondered if he can be used against Homelander at some point, or if he will follow the evil ways of the Twisted Soup. And Ryan's behavior and character development have been unpredictable to say the least. From being fascinated with Homelander, to hating him, to becoming part of his life again, Ryan has come a long way, but the 5th episode of Season 4 hints at the possibility that Ryan may not avoid the inevitable, and give in to his dark side eventually. In this video, we'll elaborate on why we think that Ryan can turn into another mini Homelander, and how Butcher might actually end up killing him. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Maybe he needs to be taught a lesson.
What are the signs that Ryan has a bit of Homelander in him? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and you can't ignore the genetic connection between Ryan and Homelander that is bound to make them similar at some point. So far in Season 4, we've seen Butcher continuing with his efforts to take Ryan away from Homelander and rehabilitate him, such that he's away from all the superhero business and trouble just like Butcher's late wife and Ryan's mother wanted. When Ryan learns about Butcher's near-death condition, he actually takes pity on the fact that Butcher only has a few more months to live. The sympathy is not well received by Homelander, who simply cannot comprehend why Ryan would seek out another person even when Homelander is there by his side this whole time. In fact, in the previous episode, we even saw Homelander lash out at Ryan for lying to him and meeting Butcher secretly, and it resulted in a bitter disagreement between the two. Just as we were starting to be hopeful about Ryan's chances of escaping the evil clutches of Homelander, the 5th episode showed them bonding in unexpected ways. Homelander seems to have mended his ways, and he no longer tries to impose his decisions on Ryan. In fact, he empowers Ryan further by saying that he doesn't have to go through with anything that he doesn't want to, even if the program heads at Vought want him to perform. In short, Homelander's not trying to make Ryan into a clockwork robot for the organization, and he quite appreciates the free will exercised by Ryan. In return, Ryan is happy about the supportive parenting, and it looks like he's forgiven his father for losing his temper earlier. If the bonding of the father-son duo is not enough of an ominous sign, what follows next surely forces us to think differently on the future of Ryan. It all starts at the V52 Expo, which is a major event organized by Vought to announce all their upcoming movies and TV shows. Of course, the 7 are there for the event, and even Ryan is present as part of Vaught's immaculate PR strategy. One of the senior officials and directors, Adam Burke, initially offers a particular setup for Ryan, which he confidently disregards, backed up by his father. Later, he also finds Adam harassing one of the female production assistants, and Ryan's Homelander side awakens at the opportunity. After being urged by his father, Ryan summons Adam for justice and publicly shames him for his actions and makes him apologize. Since Ryan is still not satisfied by the sincerity of his apology, he makes the lady slap him again and again. While the whole sequence can be seen as Ryan's act of enforcing justice, what is concerning is Ryan's facial expression. He almost seems to derive joy from the implications of his power, and he finally seems to realize the true authority that he possesses, courtesy of his father. While the lady slaps Adam, Ryan smiles like he's amused by the whole thing and sips on his milkshake nonchalantly. This rather unsettling turnaround for this character is why we believe that he might be heading in the wrong direction, and it might add up perfectly for an anticlimactic finish to the narrative. What makes Ryan vulnerable to Homelander's influence? There's a popular saying that you become like the one you're spending most of your time with. As for Ryan, he hardly has any regular interactions with individuals aside from Homelander, and it's not entirely surprising that he's slowly turning out to be like him. With greater power comes a greater risk of being corrupted, and for a young boy with such insane superpowers, it's not easy to keep things in check. Homelander is such a father figure who would always encourage his son to explore further into his powers and instincts. He will allow every one of Ryan's intrusive thoughts to become a reality. And this is dangerous parenting for someone like Ryan, who's still in his formative years. He still has bits of goodness in him, which is evident from the scene where he tells Homelander about how he aspires to become a real superhero who saves people in real life, and not in the sets of Vought. Although Homelander doesn't approve of such thoughts, you'll notice how he's still supportive of Ryan, and asks him to go ahead with his ambitions. This is a smart move from the Twisted Soup, because Ryan is probably more convinced now that Homelander is actually good for him. The loss of his mother has been a massive shock to him, and now Homelander is technically all he has for family. You can't really blame him for being influenced, can you? Time might be running out for the likes of Butcher and the boys to get him away from the manipulative Homelander, because soon, Ryan might not want to go anymore. Will Ryan's troubled childhood influence his fate? We already know how growing up in rough circumstances influences individuals, and Homelander is a great example of how twisted adults can be when their entire childhood is messed up. Now, Consider Ryan for 1 second and revisit his early life. He's grown up with his mother, and he's hardly known other humans till he was a teenager. His mother has been extra protective of him all his early life, and later, he got the shock of his life when he accidentally ended up killing his mother. The trauma is probably deep-rooted in Ryan, because you simply don't get over such tragedies easily. Ever since then, he's trusted Butcher in bits and pieces, but Homelander continues to be his father figure. The lack of social awareness and maturity in Ryan is quite evident when we see him interact with others. He's not confident enough, and he needs someone like Homelander to back up his decisions. Such a personality can be easily influenced by the lust for power, and that's exactly what Homelander brings to the table. With time, Ryan will be aware of the uncontrollable power and authority that he possesses, and there's rarely any coming back from this downward spiral. Can Butcher turn against Ryan if he has to? Billy Butcher has proven time and again that he has a soft spot for Ryan, and even in the ongoing 4th season, his affection toward Ryan is quite visible. His old friend Joe Kessler keeps trying to convince him to find a way to use Ryan as a weapon against Homelander, but Butcher's not convinced, and he still believes that Ryan can be redeemed before it's too late. His personal interactions with Ryan make him think that the young boy is far from evil, and his focus is to take Ryan away from this messy situation, just like his mother would have wanted. That being said, there are a few individuals who are as mentally tough and duty-bound as Butcher. If he's convinced at some point that Ryan is too far gone and is all set to turn into another Homelander, we can guarantee that he wouldn't hesitate to eliminate him for the greater good. Of course, his love for the young boy can make his hands tremble, but he's someone who will still pull the trigger. Going ahead in the show, if Ryan gets addicted to Homelander's power-hungry ways and becomes a threat for humanity, expect the boys to show him no mercy. This is quite a likely outcome because the show is not really known for dishing the perfect Disney-like happy endings. It would be far too perfect if Ryan is convinced about Homelander's evil ways and gets a happily ever after. And the show might have just thrown us a hint that they would allow such satisfaction for the viewers. Marvelous verdict. If Ryan turns evil, Butcher kills Ryan. Well, it hasn't even been confirmed yet that Ryan is going to embrace his dark side, and thus we know that we're making tall claims at this point. However, we are convinced that if something like this does happen, Butcher will ultimately be the one who will kill Ryan. It might be a very painful moment for him, but he will do it nonetheless, because he of all people will know that there's no other way out. In such a situation, we expect him to use the soup-killing virus on Ryan, and it will be a sorry end to a promising character. On the other hand, such an action might push him over the edge and turn him partially insane, which is something that happens in the comic books as well. In the graphic novels, Butcher loses his mind to some extent and becomes obsessed with soup elimination in every way possible. It will be a perfect setup if he has to kill Ryan in the show, because it will mean that the last wish of a broken Butcher will be to get rid of every last one of the soups, irrespective of their nature and allegiance. Overall, this may not have been the twist we saw coming, but it is a twist that makes a lot of sense in the context of the narrative. Don't forget to tell us in the comments below about your thoughts on the future of Ryan and Homelander, and what you think will be Butcher's reaction when he finally finds out that Ryan is beyond saving. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!